Welcome everyone to week number 6 in Science 200. It's good that you're here and that you made it this far and you're almost finished. So let's see what we've got going on. So last week, you learned all about biases in scientific research, whether you're talking about the bias of the researcher and the expectations that that person has, or bias with your subject or your client or your patient. They may have certain expectations or they want to give you the results that you want. And there's all kinds of biases that there are. The bias of whoever's funding the research, and it's terribly important to know who is paying for the research that's being done so that you can count on the veracity of it and how credible it is. So we try to take out bias as much as we can in scientific research, and we're always trying to find ways to do that. You learn more about the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico and how the scientists were in conflict with the geologists, etc., at BP, and how their differences were resolved and how they capped the oil spill, even though it was estimated to be about 10 times less coming out than what actually was coming out. And we will continue with that this week. You also worked on your planning document, and I will be grading those as quickly as I can because you're going to have to do the last revisions on those this week. So to start off with, you have discussion board postings this week. You don't have them every week, but you do this week. Remember, your initial post is due by Thursday night. Your 2 response posts are due by Sunday night. The initial post this week is what was the most interesting thing that you found out when you researched your topic? And why is this interesting to you? Also, why is this topic important to you? Why did you pick this one? And don't just say because it was in a list. I mean, something about it has got to be interesting to you. So let us know what that is. And your response post, you're going to have a conversation with your classmates after you read what they have written about what they think is interesting about their topic, what interests you about that person's topic, and what other questions do you have about that topic when you read their responses. Okay, so this is a conversation back and forth about the topics that you've chosen this term. In your Sumo web text, you're going to take a look at the Deepwater Horizon oil spill again, and this time the focus will be on the ecological damage that was done. And this is just the worst part of the oil spill because it ended up on the shorelines of the Gulf of Mexico, and you can imagine it was and still is throughout the water, all along the bottom of the ocean. Hopefully it's being broken down by microbes now, but it is still, we know that some of it is still there, and how it affected the organisms that survive in this ecosystem of the ocean and the shoreline. So many animals were killed because of this. Yes, human beings lost their lives, 11, but oh my goodness, the devastation to the marine life in this area was just terrible, and it's still affecting the marine life there now. So you're going to take a look at that. You're going to put together your final version of the planning document, and that means you need to go back and read anything that I've read, anything that I've written about how to improve your documents. And I will be grading the week 5 as soon as I can so that you can get finished with this planning document. Now, you need to realize that this is week 6 and you'll finish with this project work. But in the next 2 weeks, you're going to be putting together a presentation of your project, including speaker's notes. So your project will include slides like PowerPoint, Google Slides, something like that, to show your main points that you want to describe to your audience. But the speaker's notes will be what you would actually say to your audience. You never write everything that you would say onto a slide for your audience to look at. That is tremendously boring, and you're telling the audience, if you're reading that, they don't know how to read. And of course they do. So making your slides is going to be different. And I'll give you some more instructions in next week and week 8. Okay, we get to the next slide. The tip of the week is to proofread your work. Now, this is the final version that you're turning in of your report on your topic. Okay, so you need to proofread your work. And that means laying it aside after you write it, laying it aside, going to sleep, getting up the next morning, and taking a look at it again. One thing that will help you is if you read it out loud to yourself, or have somebody else read it if you want to. But you need to hear it to see if it makes sense and if it reads well, okay? And a lot of the time you can catch mistakes doing it that way. Pay attention to the spelling and grammar errors that pop up, whether you use a Microsoft Word or some other application, software application. You know, those things pop up. You can see the funny underlines and highlights. Now, does the grammar check and spelling check always catch everything? No, they don't. They sure don't. But check out if there are any to see if you want to change those or not. Okay? And with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week. And if you need anything, there's my name, Dr. Janie Sigmon, m.sigmon@snhu.edu. Just let me know, okay? Have a great week.